Hello, welcome back to our Sydney Proactive studio. Let's head west to Perth, and Adrian Griffin, the Managing Director of Lithium Australia, is there. Hi Adrian, how are things?
Hi Karen, very good, thank you.
Nice to see you again, and let's kick off with a great update today. Your 24% subsidiary, Envirostream, recently announced a deal with one of the world's largest recyclers. Can you tell us about the deal and the company involved and what impact that will have on Envirostream and Lithium Australia?
Yeah, certainly. The company involved is SungEel HiTech. They're a South Korean company. Their main business is reprocessing lithium-ion batteries, and as you mentioned, it is one of the largest companies doing that in the world. What they've done for us is provide us with an offtake agreement which is exclusive to Australia. So what that means is if there's any material going out that is so-called mixed metal dust, and I'll explain what that means for you, but if there's any of that material being exported from Australia to SungEel, it's got to go through us. So really it gives us a bit of a head start on most other people in the business. Now, what I should do is explain what that mixed metal dust is. When you process lithium-ion batteries, the first thing you've got to do is collect them, of course, and then sort them. And then having done that, you shred them and then separate the materials. Now, there are a number of scrap materials that go straight into the Australian market: plastic, steel, copper, aluminium, and then you've got a residual material, which is largely the active parts of the battery. And that contains the so-called battery metals, the nickel, the lithium, the cobalt, and manganese. And it's that material in mixed form that we have an offtake agreement with SungEel to take. And as I say, that's exclusive in Australia to Envirostream.
Well, that's fantastic news for the company, and you explained that very well, so thank you for that. It's quite involved, isn't it, those dust not dust, but the actual particles that you explained. So yeah, really interesting stuff. You've also previously alluded to the float of Envirostream. Will the deal with SungEel have an impact on the potential float, and have you got a desired time frame you're working towards to make this happen?
Well, let's tackle the time frame first. We plan on getting that away under the appropriate market conditions in the first half of next year. The impact SungEel has on that IPO, it's all about valuation, of course, and providing a value proposition to new shareholders as well as the existing shareholders of Lithium Australia. So having an offtake agreement, you can't underestimate the importance of that, and having a terminal market which otherwise wouldn't be available for that sort of material. For example, I can't sell mixed metal dust to the LME. It needs to be processed first and split out into cobalt and nickel and lithium, and then it can be sold into a terminal market. The deal creates for us a terminal market, and as a consequence allows us to establish a very firm value proposition for existing lithium shareholders and any new shareholders. Obviously, if we get a better deal than an IPO, we'll certainly look at that, but at the moment our plan is to IPO.
Fair enough. Can you now give us any idea of the financial implications of the SungEel agreement for Lithium Australia?
Well, certainly, and let's group Lithium Australia and Envirostream together in that respect. What it does is provides that all-important terminal market, as I mentioned, and that gives you financial confidence in the outcomes going forward, in that you don't have to produce a refined product to sell and monetize the situation. So that gives us the ability to move forward with financial confidence and expand the Envirostream business, which we're already busily doing with Envirostream. We have Lithium Australia employees embedded there. We're actually moving the plant, expanding the plant, and well, we've done most of that. We're currently commissioning. So we plan to have a much more significant output from that plant as we move forward under the secure financial arrangement that we have with SungEel.
Very productive time there. You sound very busy. Now, there are many different types of batteries in the marketplace. Are there any of these other types of interest to Lithium Australia? And if so, why or why not?
Yeah, it's a really interesting question. I think if you look at the collection of batteries, you get all sorts of batteries from all sorts of manufacturers, and so sorting becomes an issue. And when you're looking at small batteries and individual cells, there's a range of lithium-ion battery types. There's NMC, NCA, LFP, so on and so forth. But also mixed with that, and probably about 80% of the volume, in fact, are the alkaline cells, which are the cells that you use at home in your torch or whatever it may be, the kids' toys, a single-use battery that gets thrown away. Now, the composition of those is largely manganese and zinc internally with potassium hydroxide as an electrolyte. Those materials, interestingly enough, go into fertilisers as some of the trace element nutrients that are used on a wide scale throughout Australia. So what we're doing is separating those batteries. We're doing the same thing that we do with the lithium-ion batteries, in that we're dismembering them, pulling out the active materials, and we currently have field trials as trace elements in fertilisers going forward. So we believe there is a market for that material. At the moment, most of it, as indeed with the lithium-ion batteries, goes to landfill.
And finally, Adrian, can you just tell us what are the environmental impacts of your planned recycling?
Well, I guess the easiest way to look at this is the more we recycle, the better off it is for the environment. If you have a look at trends on a global basis, governments are starting to push towards implementing recycling programs of those materials. Simply, they shouldn't be going to landfill. There are some toxic elements in those batteries. We don't want to see those contaminating groundwater or soil. So the more we process, the better off the environment is. And we hope that state governments within Australia will adopt what's been adopted in Victoria. As of the 1st of July, those materials can't go to landfill. So we believe there should be an enormous push for the benefit of the environment, and we're part of it.
I love your initiative, Adrian, and any move to help the environment is a good one. So keep up the good work, and please keep in touch with us, because I look forward to following the progress of your company and what it's achieving.
Thank you very much, Karen.
Thank you. That's Adrian Griffin from Lithium Australia.